Hello everybody, welcome to yet another video from Capacity Bay. My name is Faculty Nat from Capacity Bay and I will be your instructor for today. In the previous class, we talked about CSS Flexbox and Grid, and in today's session we will be talking about CSS transitions. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Now, one might wonder, what are CSS transitions? What do they help us do? What are they about? Basically, they enable us to define transitions between states of an element. Now, the different states may be the hover state, the active state, and the likes. So basically, they just help us to define styles for how our element should be displayed when a particular state is applied. So enough of all of those talk. What I have right here is my VS Code. I have already defined these some basic styles on my style file here, the style.css, and also on my my roots file, my index.html. I have linked the CSS file. So first of all, we are going to create a div with the class name of transition div. So just give it a name, div, and then we go ahead and put a text in there. So please hover over me to see transition effect. So I have already started my live server, so I go over to my browser and check. Okay, it is active. So now we will style the div in which we want to apply the transition effect to. So what we have here is just the basic CSS styles, the width of the body tag and the height, and then the display of grid and place items to the center, so that the items will be, you'll be able to see the items in which we are working on, so that it will not be out of width. So first of all, we select the transition div as we define in our HTML file, transition div, and then we give it basic style. So we give it a width of 400 pixels. We give it a height of 400 pixels. We make sure that the text is aligned center to the center, and then we give it a color. The text color should be white, and then the background color of that div should be a crimson color, so that we'll be able to see our text. So with that, as it is saved, I go over to the browser and then we see. So please hover over me to see transition effect. Now the effect is not yet active because I was just defining the basic styles for our div. So we go ahead, the next thing we do is, because I want this text to be at the center, I don't want it to be hanging over the top. So I give it a display of grid again, and then place items, not content, items, center. So now it should come to the center. Okay, now it's at the center of the div. Now also, if you notice, our cursor, it's showing like a text. Our cursor defined is a text kind of cursor. So I want it to show a pointer each time someone hovers over this div, so that it will show that there is an effect to be applied after the hover action has been done. So we go ahead and we specify that cursor. We define the cursor. We have different values, but the one we are looking for is the pointer. So after that it is saved, it has changed. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we can only apply the transition property on different states, like the active or the hover state. So today we are going to be working with the hover state. So first of all, we select the div in which you want the transition to be applied upon, or the element in which you want the transition to be applied upon, and then we select the state. What state? The hover state. So we go ahead and give it some style. So what happens when someone hovers over that div? So we set the width to say, let's say 200 pixels. So let's go ahead and see that. Everything, it happens immediately. There is an hover, the width changes to 200 pixels, but it's too fast. So that's where other CSS transition properties comes in. Now we have different properties like transition delay, transition duration, and transition property, and then transition timing function. So first of all, we are going to start with transition delay. This transition delay specifies the duration to wait before the transition starts. So before the effect of the transition starts. So let's go ahead and activate that and see what it will look like. Transition delay. So we set it to 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, the transition happens. It happens after 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, it happens. After 2 seconds, it happens. So that is what our transition effect can, transition delay can do. Also, we have another property, CSS transition timing function. So the timing function specifies how you want the transition to begin and how you want it to end. So let's go ahead and try that. Transition timing function. It has different values like ease in, ease out, linear, ease in out, and then step, start, and the like. So basically, let's just see one of them and what it looks like. So ease. So let's see. 1, 2. It happens. So that's what that property is about. But I don't like the 2 seconds. It takes time before the transition starts. So once we hover, it starts. It comes in, it goes out easily. So the next one we are going to try is ease in. So it will start slowly, but it will go out fast. Okay, come slowly but fast. Slowly, and then goes out fast. Also, we have another one, ease out. So it will start fast. For that one, it starts fast and then goes out slowly. So it starts fast and then goes out slowly. So that's what that particular property does. And then also we also have another CSS property called CSS duration or transition duration. Another transition property called transition duration. Transition duration. Now this transition duration, it specifies the length of time the transition should take to complete. So let's say maybe we give it 1 second still. So let's see. Okay, it comes slowly like that. That is what our duration helps us. It takes 1 second to start and complete, and then it goes out. So why it's going out fast is because of our timing function. Now there's another timing function called ease in out. So that one, it helps everything to be in order. So it comes in slowly and also goes out slowly. Comes in slowly, and goes out slowly. So that's what that particular property helps us to do. So quickly, let's go to the next one. The next property we have is a CSS transition property. So it specifies the transition property sets the CSS property the transition effect should be applied to. So basically what we've been doing since we've just been applying the property to the transitions to general things, but now we are going to specify the property, that's the width. We want it to be applied to the width. So now everything should work fine. So we reload and then we wait. So on the width, it hovers, then goes back, comes in and then goes back like that. So that is what the CSS transition property. Oh, I didn't even specify property. So DSS transition property. Okay, think it works now. So it works better that way. So yeah. Then also we also have the CSS what's it called? We have a way of beginning instead of stating or listing all these properties this way, there is a way we can also list all the properties at once. We can list all of them at once. So we also have linear for this one. So there's a way we can also list all of them at once. So the linear, it goes in and goes out immediately. So there are different properties. And then, as I was saying, there's a way to list all of them at once. How is it done? So it goes so we define it with just transition, not transform, transition. And then we have the property you are trying to transition into. Property you are trying to apply the transition to. So with, what do we have earlier? 200 pixels. Or let's use height this time around. So, and then transition, we specify the transition property height. And then the next thing, we specify the duration. So let's say we want the transition to take 4 seconds to complete. And then we specify the timing function. So let's say is in out. And then we specify the delay. So we say 2 seconds. So let's go back and check. So it takes 2 seconds before the transition begins. And then it goes out. 1, 2, then it begins and goes out. So that is a wrap for today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have any questions, please do well to drop them in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to our channel, like and share our videos too. And please ensure to hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we drop a new video. See you in the next session. Thank you very much for watching.